begin these reflections of our experience at Penn State campus here in Reading, I'm recalling thinking about coming here back in 1959, and I was persuaded to pay a visit to Berks County and see what the situation was. And I did that, and happily I found Berks County to be one of the most attractive locations of Pennsylvania, having come really from western Pennsylvania. And once I got to know some of the people here, I began to appreciate the people of Berks County. And following that, I began to appreciate the reservoir of goodwill that had been built up for Penn State by the Ag and Home Economics Extension personnel who had been here since 1914. And beyond that, the continuing education program of the university had related to Wyomissing Polytechnic Institute, and all of those services had provided a broad respect and a good feeling for Penn State. And so it was with that background that I made the decision to bring my wife and family to Berks County out of State College, where we had spent the previous 10 years. The challenge of coming to Berks County was to pick up on the tradition of the Wyomissing Polytechnic Institute, which had existed from 1927 to 1958 and was in the process of being terminated because of a change in the economic climate of not only Reading but the whole industry of the textile industry. And it was the fortunate turn of events that caused Louis Toon to call Eric Walker, the president of Penn State, and offer the facilities of the WPI to establish another 14th Penn State campus in Wyomissing. Therefore, it was called the Wyomissing Center of Penn State at the beginning. And we were able to pick up on the WPI students who were in the process of completing their program and start the new campus, actually, more officially, the center of Penn State in the facilities of WPI, with about 50 students and about 8 faculty members at that time. And so we picked up at that point on the programs of Penn State that were developing very nicely around the Commonwealth, similar to what WPI had done in engineering technology, and continue almost without interruption, actually without interruption, from May to September, the termination of WPI and the beginning of the Wyomissing Center of Penn State. My good fortune during that year to become appointed as the director of the campus, and I came after the first year of operation to start working with the campus and the future of the institution in July of 1959. At that point, we were looking ahead to development of a campus. Mr. Toon had said to Dr. Walker, when you reach the point of development where you need a new campus, you can be assured of 40 acres of land that will be available. And that did not happen until about 1965, when we had risen in enrollment to 500 students and about 20 faculty members by that time. As we reached the latter end of the 1960s, it became evident that a new campus was certainly going to be needed. And By 1965, plans were underway to develop the promised 40 acres and develop the first capital campaign in this area for the university, which was headed by Louis Toon and Jim Stout of Gilbert Associates. And fortunately, we were able to again capitalize upon the goodwill of Penn State and Berks County. We had the support of not only the public at large, the corporations, the bankers, and the labor leaders, educational leaders of the community. We also had the support of the county commissioners. And with all of that going forward, we were able to raise $1 million toward the new campus, which culminated the campaign in 1968. At that time, we were looking at just 40 acres, and the university trustees decided that at all campuses there should be at least 100 acres, which caused the advisory board, headed up at that time by Tom Handworth, to investigate the possibility of additional land. Fortunately, that was found within the holdings of the Henry Janssen Corporation. One Tom Handworth, who was on our advisory board at that time, chairman I think at the time, called me one day as we were planning finally for the first building on the 40-acre campus. He said, "Hal, would you think we could delay the building of the campus, the start of the campus, for at least a year, and let me work on developing a possible more attractive land development for the campus?" And I said, "Tom, we're all ready to go with this new building, and yet sounds interesting." And to make a long story short, Tom was able to work with the Janssen family and enable the university to make a presentation to the family for the purchase of the 125 acres. I just wanted to make sure that Tom was recognized for that, and also for having the vision to ask for another 125 acres on option. And fortunately, the family interests were willing to go along with that, which provided the base for further development of the campus well into the future.